What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Shiv here. Alright, before we begin, so a lot of you have been very active in the comment section. I really love seeing all that positive feedback. You guys are fucking making me happy. The likes have been increasing. I've been seeing this posted up other places, other forums. I've seen it tweeted. I love you guys. Thank you very much. Keep up that good work. You're really helping out this channel greatly. Alright, so we got 5 new cards to cover, including an old god. Now, I'll say this right now. Some of these cards are fucking amazing and have some really strong possibilities when you open your mind to certain things. Alright, so keep that in mind. So, let us begin. Alright, starting off, we have the Steward of Darkshire. Okay, so 3 mana for a 3/3. I saw this and then I looked and said, oh, yeah, so now that shitty pally spell that everybody called a shittier version of Muster for Battle kind of makes sense. And then I slapped myself because I was like, no, you dumbass, you use this to go face. Here you go. Alright, so Bluegill Warrior, Wolf Rider. Think about this, guys. Anything with 1 health, and that's pretty much most of the aggressive face cards all have 1 health. Fuck, even Ironbeak Owl silences something and becomes a fucking 2/1 with Divine Shield. Can you feel me, guys? Can you feel me? Leopard Gnome! Leopard Gnome with Divine Shield! How much more value can you get on that card? Seriously. So yeah, this is where things get a little bit tricky and scary. And let us not forget, something that gives multiple Divine Shields plays very well into Blood Knight, which also plays very well into Big Game Hunter. So, yeah. It's a catch-22 kind of scenario. You got to determine whether or not the gamble's worth it. But it is a 3/3/3, so I mean, it could be used as a tempo play, and it might as well just say taunt on it. It really should. And of course, you know, Twilight Drake really loves this card. Really loves this card. So, tempo play, it's not bad. If you can synergize this later on, it's not bad. It actually allows for some really good off-curve synergies later in the game, which generally does not happen too often, but it's not horribly bad. Not horribly good either, but it has potential. Alright. Moving on to the next card, we have Skaram Cultist. I don't care if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I don't care. It's a giant fucking cockroach. 6 mana for a 7/6. Holy shit, that is a buffed up steroid fucking cockroach. Seriously, even Boulder Fist Ogre's like, damn. Alright. 6 mana for a 7/6 Battlecry. Give your Cthulhu +2/+2 wherever it is. Okay, so again, Cultist equals Cthulhu, and this is going to be kind of an interesting concept here. Most of the Cultists we've seen have been below 4, which means, you know, curving out was kind of eh. Here we are seeing a 6 mana one. So all we really need is a 5 mana one, and now that curve is getting a lot more complete. Cthulhu and Paladin. Well, let's be honest. Paladins love curving, so it's possible. It really is possible. Though I still think Druids are going to have some of the easiest time with that, but who's to say? I do like this card. The fact that it trades evenly with Boulder Fist Ogre makes this almost an auto pick in Arena, even though there's no Cthulhu effect, but you're just getting it for the body. It does die to Big Game Hunter, which might actually be a good thing. If you could sucker out the Big Game Hunter with this, then GG, well played. So yeah, I do like this card. I think it's actually a pretty good card. And it also makes me think that Big Game Hunter is not going to get nerfed when I see shit like this. It's just how my mind is working. But yeah, decent card, guys. Alright, so next up we have Kabbalah's Tome. 5 mana Mage Epic. Now, I've always bitched about Epic, saying, you know, most of them are underwhelming and pretty shit. This one, it's kind of, you know, a coin flip. And I'm not saying that as a pun because it's a random, alright? So, but add 3 random mage spells to your hand. 3 random mage spells. Okay. Alright, so it's 5 mana. Its viability in a lot of the builds that exist today is a little bit shady. Somebody might say, oh, well, what about in Flamewaker builds? Okay, so are you replacing a 6/3 minion with this? Because that's the slot it's occupying. Are you replacing any kind of minion with this? Where I see this most likely coming out of is possibly things like Spellweaver, or off that 6/3 minion, you know? You're RNG into RNG. It's RNG Inception at that point, guys. So yeah. What gets even a little scarier, though, is giving this to another class. Like, oh, I get 3 mage spells. You really want to give another class a possible Pyroblast? Ooh, that's scary. It actually could be very scary, guys. So yeah. I want to like this card. I really do. But at the same time, I see so many downsides to it. I mean, the cost is pretty abusive. It also reminds me of something similar that me and Nox created back in the day. That would... Basically, it's a slightly more bloated version of it that doesn't give a discount, which I think is like the big thing I really have a problem with it. It's not giving a discount on any of those spells, much like Unstable Portal did, alright? So, obviously, Blizzard is okay with discounting minions, but when it comes to spells, no, fuck off. You only can do that with Emperor Thurzan. So, alright, that's fine. That's cool. And now the moment you've all been waiting for. The arrival of the Pandarian legend... Yasarj! Rage Unbound! Rage Unbound. Who the fuck named that shit? Alright. 10 mana for a 10-10. 10 mana for a 10-10. 10 mana for a 10-10. That's a pretty fucking big body. But, you know, Deathwing's still going, scrub. Alright, so what's it do? At the end of your turn, put a minion from your deck into the battlefield. Any minion! So, okay, the obviously... big downside here is he's 10 mana. The next one is, it could, what if he puts out a Battlecry minion? Do you get the Battlecry? No, you don't get the Battlecry. That's pretty much standard for cards like this. Alright, so we'll do some other comparisons here. Varian. Varian looks like total dog shit in comparison to this. Yes, Varian does accelerate your deck, but you can whiff on that shit, and then all you get is a 7/7. This guy, consistently you're going to get a minion every turn. But it dies to Big Game Hunter, it dies to Siphon Soul, it dies to Polymorphs, dies to Hexes, dies to anything involving Equality, Assassinate, fuck, shit. We might even see Hunters bring out Deadly Shot, Hunter's Mark, Wild Pyromancer combo, insert... There are many ways of skinning this fucking old god. I'm not even kidding. Many ways of skinning this bitch. So, yeah. This guy... If he lasts more than a turn, I'd be more than surprised. And I want to point something out here. A lot of people are going to say, wow, this old god's kind of weak. He's kind of this. He's kind of that in comparison to the other old gods. Okay, well, I'd like to point out something. All the other old gods you have to invest in, all right? You look at Cthulhu. You have to play Cultist in order to get the big value on there. Now, that actually plays out very well, as we've seen in the past, of playing minions always ends up being a greater benefit than anything else. So, yeah, that's why that makes sense. Now, you look at N'Zoth. All right, so anything Death Rattle comes back. Okay, well, we learned in the past that Death Rattle minions have some really big value, and you could exploit the shit out of it. So, big fucking surprise there, guys. So this one has absolutely no investment given into it, but instead you get a big fucking body, and it gets to pull you another minion. So in a way, it actually does supersede the amount of possible board state damage of Deathwing. It has the potential of going above Deathwing very easily. Not itself individually, but it can bring out other things that can. So yes, it does. So this is a really interesting card, and a card like this kind of really makes me think that you're going to want to pack stuff that's like, you know, 7, 8, attack, and play those beforehand, just to kind of really draw out the big game hunters, just to kind of really draw out any of those big hard removals. That way you can play this guy uncontested, and he's just going to continue to accelerate your board. So yeah, if this guy isn't dealt with, that's pretty much you win. GG, well played, because you're literally getting a minion every turn plus whatever you're playing, alright? So you could actually get away with, okay, oh, you pulled Ragnaros for me at the end of the turn. Great. Oh, here, I'll play Ragnaros the Light Lord. Have a nice day. Actually, you'd much rather him pull Ragnaros the Light Lord and then you play Ragnaros. But, you know, hey, that's just me, guys. That's just me. So yeah, definitely, I could see some value in it, but it's extremely slow. So this is one of those tactical cards that you're really going to have to set up very nicely. It is a coup de grace, so to speak. But I like it. But now here comes the question. All the old gods are 10. Well, how exactly are we going to get those? I mean, you want to get those, like, near 10. You don't want to have them in your hand. You're almost always going to throw them back in your mulligan. But what happens when you get that point where you're at 10, you're at 11, you're at 12, 13, 14, and you haven't pulled your old god? So your whole deck construction goes to shit. There's got to be a way of fixing that, right? Right? Well, meet your Fisher, guys. This is a tutor card, but it's a delayed tutor card. Alright, so 6 mana for the Ancient Harbinger, 4/6 good body. At the start of your turn, put a 10 cost minion from your deck into your hand. Alright, so answering that question, well, what if I want these to play it on curve and it's not there? Well, here's how you're going to do it. However, I'm going to warn you guys, this is pretty much going to, might as well say, taunt and I slapped your mother in the face with my cock. Everybody is going to be trying to kill this card. If you cannot kill this card, you know very well that you're about to eat a bag of dicks, alright? If this card lives, then you know that scenario of, okay, well now I know they've got an old god in their hand. That telepaths a lot of things, and playing an old god on curve is going to be pretty fucking impactful. And not to mention the fact that Emperor Thorazan also still exists, so being able to get a reduction on Old God playing it ahead of curve, or in the case of Druids playing it super ahead of the curve, could actually break the game in many different ways and cause you to suffer for it. But again, it all depends on what's in your hand and what your board state is, so keep that in mind. But yeah, this guy might as well say has taunt. Might as well say has taunt. And might as well have in there something that's insulting to your, like, pride, heritage, family, insert whatever pisses you the fuck off. Because this card's going to get uber amounts of hate on the board. It will not live, alright? So, what does that mean? You need to play this very, very wise. Playing on a curve, probably not going to happen. Rogues, guess what? You have the ability of playing this on 8 and making sure you're going to get your fucking value very, very nicely, alright? Yeah, I know, I shouldn't really be helping Rogues out that much, but I'm really liking where Rogue is heading, so fuck off. So yeah, there's that. This card is pretty scary in many, many ways, but you're definitely going to want to play this either behind taunts or with some stuff that's going to defend it. The fact that it dies to a fireball, boom. High mains smash right into it and still live. It can take a hit from Sylvanas, it can take a hit from any 5/5 and still keep on ticking, but still with 1 life left over, it's not really that hard to do. Would this be a viable Hunter's Mark target? Yeah, sort of. But here's the problem, though. If you kill this and then they still get the old god out and you've only had 1 Hunter's Mark, how bad do you feel? So, I mean, it's going to be one of those things. Whatever you waste to kill this here, you're not going to have later on for when that shit does drop. So, a risk-reward type deal. But I still like the card. I think it's really good. It's a giant point sink that people will have to invest to get rid of, which I think is kind of why it's here. If you can't get rid of it, GG well played. If you can't get rid of it, well, GG well played, because you just wasted a lot of resources into killing it. So, I like that. Definitely some strategic moves here. And this might be even viable to play on curve, just to really piss off people. So, I like this card. I think it's going to be really a lot of fun. So, yeah. Anyway, so those are the 5 cards. Let me know which ones you like. I mean, they were all pretty good, and I really don't want to pick a favorite or anything, but I would hate to pick some favorites. That would just be wrong. That would be, you know, bad, and that would be biased. Why would I ever do that? No, I'm not that way at all. I would never do that. Oh, who the fuck am I kidding? Yeah, I love this card right here, guys. I like the potential that it has. I could see some really cool synergies. I could see some really great late game plays. And also seeing some of the stuff that's coming out now and seeing possibilities for control-oriented decks in a few different classes really makes me think that this might be a good card. Also, Warriors, hey, for those of you who play Control Warrior and really wanted to keep playing Varian, hi, here's your replacement. And it's a much better replacement. And you don't have to invest for it, so yeah. But yeah, I like this guy a lot. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Take to the comment section. Let me know if I'm a complete fucking idiot. Let me know which cards you like. Let me know some cool combinations and synergies that you're envisioning for these cards. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and this is Shiv saying, I love you all. May RNGesus bless you. Free Cthulhu. Daka Daka Daka. Peace.